The room changed the moment Marcus spoke, like everyone had already agreed with him before I even sat down. He leaned back and said, "You wouldn't even know what to do with one of them." I sat across from him, placing my bag under the chair. I hadn't come for anything like this. My father said we were finalizing paperwork. "I'm Tegan Caldwell. I'm 36. Marcus slid a document across the table. "This makes it official. I've been handling everything anyway." My mother nodded. "It's the practical choice. You don't need the responsibility." My father finally spoke without looking at me. "Marcus has done the work. It makes sense." No one waited for my response. I looked down at the document. Legal wording. A release. My name being removed from something they clearly expected me not to question. Marcus pushed it closer. "Let's not drag this out." I didn't touch it. Instead, I looked at my father. Really looked. He wouldn't meet my eyes. "Dad," I said quietly, "you really don't know, do you?" The room shifted. Marcus straightened. "Know what?" I didn't answer him. I turned to the lawyer instead. "Before we go further, we should verify something." The lawyer hesitated, then reached for his laptop. Marcus scoffed. "There's nothing to verify. Just sign it. If it's already clear," I said, "checking records won't change anything." My mother pressed her hand to the table. "Tegan, don't make this complicated." "Simple usually means no questions," I said. "I'm asking one." The lawyer cleared his throat. "We can confirm ownership through county records." That was the first thing no one pushed back against. Marcus looked away first, and I waited for the truth to show itself. While the lawyer's screen loaded, my mind drifted back to the last time I'd been on the receiving end of documents that changed everything. It was early 2019. My grandfather asked me to come over on a weekday morning, unusual for him. When I arrived, a folder was already waiting on his kitchen table. "I've been looking at the numbers again," he said, sliding it toward me. "Not just properties, the people attached to them." Then, more quietly, "Marcus has energy. I'll give him that. But he treats money like it's endless. And I've seen what happens when he's in control. He doesn't stop when it benefits him." Inside the folder were deeds. 5 properties in Tampa and nearby areas. Quitclaim transfers, already prepared. "I want these in your name," he said. "Clean. Recorded. No confusion later." I looked at him. "What about everyone else?" "They'll deal with it when they have to. You just need to know what's yours." We signed everything that week. By the time I left, the filings were already in motion. His final words stuck with me. "Don't argue later. Just hold your ground when it matters." I didn't realize then how soon that moment would come. The present snapped back into focus as the lawyer turned his screen toward himself and began working. Marcus broke the silence first. "This isn't complicated. It's part of the estate." The lawyer didn't answer immediately. He clicked through records, careful, deliberate. "I just want to confirm I'm reading this correctly," he said. Marcus leaned in. "You are. It's public record." "I understand," the lawyer replied. "But there was a transfer." That word changed the room. Marcus froze. "That doesn't make sense. Those were always his." The lawyer finally looked up. "According to county filings, they were transferred." Silence stretched. Marcus forced a laugh. "Transferred to who?" The lawyer hesitated, just long enough. Then he angled the screen. I was already standing. "I can answer that," I said. I stepped closer, looking at the record myself. "That's correct," I added calmly. "Those were filed in 2019. Marcus's chair slammed back as he stood. "No, that's not possible. There has to be a mistake." I didn't argue. I simply opened the folder I'd brought with me and placed the first page on the table. 2847 East Beach Boulevard, I said. Recorded transfer. February 18th, 2019. The lawyer leaned forward, comparing my document with what was on his screen. He didn't speak, but his expression said enough. I placed another page on the table. 156, Sunset Drive. Same date. Marcus shook his head harder. "No, that's not how this works. Those are Grandpa's properties." "They were," I said calmly. "Until they weren't." I kept going one document at a time, laying each page down without rushing. 8934, Collins Avenue, I added. And the remaining two follow the same structure. Same filing. By the time I finished, the table wasn't just covered in paper anymore. It was a record of something already decided years ago. My father finally spoke. Quiet. You've owned these since then? Since 2 weeks before Grandpa passed, I said. Everything was filed properly. It's been public record the entire time. My mother stared at the documents without touching them. Marcus didn't look at them at all. That's not possible. I've been managing everything. I know, I said. You were managing them for me. For the first time, I looked directly at him. Whatever confidence he had earlier was gone. I placed the final sheet down. I've also been paying the property taxes, I added. Every year, since the transfer. Every bill is in my name. No one spoke. Even the room seemed to settle differently now. I returned to my seat, leaving everything on the table. No one reached for Marcus's agreement after that. It just sat there, forgotten. Then I opened the second folder. There's something else we should clear up, I said. Marcus finally looked uneasy, like he was deciding whether to interrupt. I've been reviewing the accounts tied to these properties, I continued. Some numbers don't match. That's because you're not managing them, he said quickly. You don't see the day-to-day. I've seen enough, I said. I slid a statement toward the lawyer first. Sunset Drive lease is $1,800 monthly. Deposits average closer to $1,200. Over 3 months, that's a $12,000 gap. Marcus leaned forward. Vacancies. Repairs. You don't understand how it works. There were tenants, I said. I spoke to them. I turned the page. Maintenance invoices don't match completed work. Some vendors don't exist outside these records. Marcus hesitated. That's just how contracting works. Cash jobs. Faster turnaround. That might explain one case, I said. Not a pattern. The lawyer watched more closely now. My father stared at the table. I handled everything, Marcus said again. Quieter this time. You had access, I replied. That's not the same thing. My mother stepped in again. He's the one who did the work. That has to count for something. It does, I said. Just not in ownership. Marcus exhaled sharply. So that's it? Paperwork matters more than everything else. It's not just paperwork, I said. It's what was decided. My father shifted in his chair again, but I didn't look at him this time, that I already understood the pattern in that room. For years, I said, this had been treated like something Marcus naturally stepped into, while I was never even part of the conversation. Not because it was unclear, my name had been on the documents the entire time. No one challenged that directly. They couldn't. I let the silence sit, then opened my folder again and placed a single page in front of Marcus. This is a formal notice, I said. Effective immediately, you're no longer managing any of these properties. That includes account access. He didn't touch it at first. He just looked at me. You can't just decide that, he said. I've been handling everything. I can, I said calmly, because I'm responsible for them. The lawyer shifted slightly, but stayed quiet. My father didn't move. My mother didn't speak. You have 48 hours, I continued. Transfer keys, tenant records, and all account access. After that, I'll take full control directly. Marcus let out a sharp breath. And if I don't, then I proceed without you, I said. And I document it. He picked up the paper, like holding it might change what it meant. You're making a mistake, he said. I don't think I am. Then I added evenly, an independent audit of the accounts is also going in this week. If there are discrepancies, I'll pursue recovery formally. That was when his confidence finally cracked. The argument didn't end. It just stopped being relevant. After that, everything moved outside the room. Within a week, I transferred the properties to a management firm in Tampa. They took over quickly, tenants, leases, reporting, all of it standardized and cleaned up. Through my attorney, I requested a full reconciliation of deposits and maintenance records. The inconsistencies weren't huge individually, but they were consistent enough to matter. Over $20,000 in question. Marcus called twice that day. I didn't answer. His messages started controlled, then shifted into frustration, then negotiation. I still didn't respond. A few days later, I heard indirectly that questions had started forming at his firm about reporting, outside involvement, and decisions that didn't match standard practice. Nothing loud, just enough. Within a week, he was pulled from 2 projects. At home, everything changed in smaller ways. My mother called once, careful, measured. My father didn't call at all at first. Then eventually he did. Not to argue, just to say he had looked again and understood more than he had before. I didn't fill in the gaps for him. Some things don't need explanation.
Some just take time.
When I finally visited one of the properties afterward, nothing felt dramatic about it. The tenant had just signed a new lease. The management system was already running smoothly. Everything was ordinary again. And that was the point. My name was on the lease. My name was on the records. My name was on everything that mattered. Not because I demanded recognition, but because it had always been mine. And I stopped explaining that in rooms where it was never going to be heard anyway.